So I'm not Marlena. I'm Barbara Scales, and it's a real pleasure to be here. And, oh, I've got my senior song here. I don't want to read that. I want to read the speech. I thought we were going to do the song first. So I need to find it. I need to put on my glasses. That's new. Dear friends, classmates, Hunterites, alumni, professors, principals, assistant principals, directors, people who have made this wonderful school over decades what it has been and what it is today. It is 50 years since we departed. Do you remember how it started? We came from across the 5 boroughs of New York City and took an exam. Then we came to attend school at the castle. On the walls of the college building, I read these words of Ralph Waldo Emerson every day as I walked along 68th Street to the main door. And in 50 years, I have not forgotten them. We are of different opinions at different hours, but we may always be said to be at heart on the side of truth. Hunter taught us as young women to learn about history, literature, algebra, and trigonometry, to learn to research, to keep going until we had grasped what we were seeking. We lived in a fact-based universe, and we also nourished our imaginations. We ran the castle, the AA, the debate society, What's What, our yearbook, the GEO, our class. Some amongst us wrote some of the best satirical songs we may ever hear. We were little sisters and then big sisters in the remarkable family that Hunter was for us. The world was rich and full of possibilities. We knew and sang the songs of our generation from the freshness of the Beatles, who saw her standing there, to the Mamas and the Papas, California Dreamin' on a Winter's Day, and Nobel Prize winner Bob Dylan's The Times They Are A-Changing. I remember other characters in Dylan's early songs, The Masters of War, and You Playboys and Playgirls Ain't A-Gonna Run My World. We were certain that they would not have the last word. Do you remember the state of the world outside of our castle walls, the war in Vietnam, poverty, social breakdowns, ghettos going up in flames, the civil rights movement? Some of us protested, some of us worked in political campaigns. We clamored for the vote. We believed, we knew that it was important. We heard a lot about dreams. I was very touched to see the sign on the bulletin board in the staircase saying, "Dreamers, welcome here." Martin Luther King, who spoke about a dream in the summer after we entered Hunter. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream. And a few years later, during our journey through Hunter, Robert F. Kennedy told us, "Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not." We were not the men. We were the girls becoming women, and we were dreaming and asking why not. All of us left Hunter having been taught that knowledge would give us the passport we needed to realize our dreams. We are the class of 68. For many in the world, it was a year of despair, of determination, of hope, a year when students insisted that it was right to march to a different drum. To say we can and must do better. A year of advancement, of protest in the streets of New York, of Paris, the streets of Memphis. It was the year of the encampment on the Mall in our capital city, of the poignantly named Resurrection City, planned by Martin Luther King, but only realized after his assassination. But we were optimistic. We believed that our learning could bring change. In our senior song, we say, our response to affairs of state is quite simple: innovate. We became teachers, doctors, lawyers, judges, social workers, psychologists, researchers, scientists, writers, historians, artists, editors, partners. We looked after our parents, we raised our children, we climbed the barricades. We spread across the country and around the world. We observed the sometimes glacial pace of social change while we watched the tools of our world transition into what had only been imaginable as science fiction. Men on the moon, women in space, computers, the internet connecting potentially everybody on the globe, the Internet of Things, friendly robots. And also not so friendly bots. We have seen walls go up on the internet. We have seen our country and our world go through order and disorder, anger and complacency, shredded by the bullets and bombs, even in our schools, never sure that the perfect balance of growth, insight, and stability would ever be found. And here we are, 50 years later, and what have we got? Just 4 years ago, a 17-year-old girl, Malala Yousafzai, received the Nobel Prize for Peace. And now there is another class of 17, 18, 19-year-olds who are due to graduate this year, the kids of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School. They and we are still marching to Washington. Reading the headlines, the playboys and playgirls seem to be running our world. But the faces on the cover of Time magazine are also those of people whom I like to think resemble the dreamers we were at their age. Let's celebrate our class, ourselves, our accomplishments, but let's also acknowledge that there is much left to do. And let's be there on the journey with the 17, 18, and 19-year-olds who emerge from high school year after year with an education and a passport to realize their dreams, which are in so many ways still our dreams. They say history is written by the victors. Let us be the ones to write the history. Thank you.
Today was really worth a 5-year wait, because our day is finally here. Stand up and give a cheer as we present the class of 68. This is a very special day. Senior 68 have now arrived. Sexy senior 68, we no longer hibernate. Our exciting classes come alive. Every senior is first grade. We might even graduate. More renowned than Lady Bird, senior is a household word, yet her modesty personified. Due to our pulchritude and our many aptitudes, we're forever being glorified. We are undeniably blessed with femininity. Immortal prose is what we speak, the poems we write in ancient Greek. Take the Odyssey, lose all its fame. Musically we sing folk rock and the latest hits of pop. Our generosity brings wide acclaim. When we fruit our minuet, Nureyev gets quite upset. We will admit we're not our best, taking merit scholarship.